Hello, welcome to this your channel, the Eurofan. That's me. Armenia is still consolidating into competition after the avant-garde proposal presented by Brunel in last year's contest, with which she reached her 14th place in the final ranking. It was clear that the Caucasian country has not any doubt on keeping its participation, aiming to still improving their results until achieving their first victory. Let's take a look into the artist who had the chance of carrying the Armenian colors on the main stage of Malmö. Here we go. For today's episode, I'm going to review the Armenian entry for Eurovision 2024, which has been represented by the duo Ladaniva with the song Jako. As usual, we start by reviewing their biography and career before leaving the Eurovision experience into Nordic country. Ladaniva is a French-Armenian duo in the genre of world music, coming from the city of Lille, France. It is formed by Armenian singer Jacqueline Bagdasaryan and French multi-instrumentalist Louis Thomas. I guess that you are now wondering how is that a duo formed in the Gallic country ends up representing Armenia. Let's see first how they get together. In one hand, Jacqueline was born in the town of Yekhanasor, located in southern Armenia. She will be raised in the Belarusian capital, Minsk, until she emigrates together with her mother to the city of Tourcoing in France, close to the city of Lille at the age of 17. Having singing skills since very early age, by living in France, she will enroll at the Lille Conservatory to improve her singing abilities. Louis, in the other hand, comes from the city of Lille. Coming from a family of musicians, she will eventually develop a passion for music by studying jazz in the conservatory of his hometown. They will meet up by coincidence in 2018 during a jam session in a musical bar of the city, and shortly after they will decide to start a musical project together. Ladaniva was getting born. And if you're curious about the group's name, it comes from the word conjunction of the car Ladaniva, which casually owned both parents of them, and that also was very popular in then Soviet Union, from which Armenia was part in that time, since the 1970s, and that is still produced nowadays in modern Russia. They also have stated that the name symbolizes the spirit of adventure of both of them, and the curiosity about different cultures around the world. Their musical style is mainly inspired in traditional songs from Armenia, Russia, Romania, and some Balkan countries, having also influences from the music of Latin America, Africa, and Reunion Island, which is a French overseas department close to Madagascar. They will start a musical career in some way in 2020, in the time in which many countries were in lockdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic, by covering songs in some digital platforms, where they gained huge popularity, especially among the Armenian community, being then released later in their first EP in the middle of that same year. Sometime later, they would release their first official single, which also had an outstanding success. Once the COVID-19 pandemic restrictions got lifted in many European countries, the duo started to extensively promote themselves in musical festivals by all over the continent. They signed a record deal with an indie Belgian record label during last year, with which they released their debut studio album shortly after, incorporating songs both in Armenian and French. Now you must surely wonder how is that they end up representing Armenia at the Eurovision. Let's check it out in further detail. As it is usual, the Armenian public broadcaster will keep recurring to the internal selection formula for the artist and the song that will represent the country in Sweden, after confirming their participation in early December of last year. Once again, they have very tight link about the selection process, without revealing further details as we are used to. Despite some local and international media took for granted the internal selection of Ladaniva, without any confirmation or denial by the broadcaster, it was not until early last March when they finally announced them as the Armenian representatives in Malmö. The song will be premiered in the middle of that same month together with its accompanying official music video. A clear statement for being oneself. Let's find out now a little more about this singular proposal with which they have attended the contest. Talking about the melody, this is an authentic melting pot of musical genres. by having Armenian traditional music, jazz, a touch of Balkan sounds, and another more touch of Latin American and African sounds, which makes it remarkable and interesting, and that also invites you to get up on the chair and dance. In these songs, the melodic bass stand out on Louis' abilities as a multi-instrumentalist by playing the trumpet, a traditional flute very typical from Armenia named zhbi, and the ukulele. Jacqueline's voice as the performer of the song can be described as sweet, moderately powerful at the same time, and with a lot of self-confidence, probably reflecting her own personality through it. About the lyrics, it has been written fully in Armenian by the duo together with another French songwriter, although it is not too long in this case. It comes to attention in particular as it is the first time since 2018 that Armenia sings an entry in their native language. It was Sedaka Nagian who performed the song Camille during the edition held in Lisbon, Portugal, but unfortunately it did not advance for the semifinals. So I guess it was the cause of the reluctance of the country to use their native language again, until now. If you have been wondering where the song's title comes from, it is from the nickname which Jacqueline used to be called since she was very little. They describe it as an account of her childhood, and those feelings of being forced by society to dress and behave properly as good girls should do. But Jacqueline does not only criticize these impositions, but also challenges to ignore them, looking to keep her personality and her own identity no what other people could say. This is easily perceived when you read the lyrics in detail, previously translated of course, describing all those phrases they have been told to her since she was little, getting herself tired of always being told what to do, deciding to be herself and inviting the rest of the people to join her dance. The message of the song is not only addressed to herself, but also to all little jackals around the world, to have the freedom of being the authentic, wild and unapologetic selves. After seeing a little more about this peculiar song, let's see now how they have portrayed the contents of it through the official music video, which makes homage to the Armenian-Ukrainian film director Sergei Barajanov, as has been known, considered as one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, and that has been especially reflected in the filming style used by him during his career for the recording of the music video. The plot begins with Jacqueline singing through a hole in a lace fabric during the song's intro. In the meanwhile, she is singing other shots, wearing an Armenian traditional outfit, as well as other ones with Louis playing the trumpet, and of herself biting a pomegranate being in a sort of sewing room. When the chorus comes, she suddenly appears lighting the shades made of lace. She takes some stones from the table, where there are two girls and a lady doing some handicrafts with several stones, going later to another table where there is a chess game, to put the stones she took before on the board, and moving a chess piece to the bewilderment of one of the players. All this while Louis still plays the trumpet. For the first verse, they are seen outdoors to a big country house, with a car parked next to it. And it is not just any car, it is precisely a model of Ladaniva, obviously referencing to the duo's name. Back to the chorus, there are different shots about Jacqueline moving around the outskirts of the house and dancing, and Louis still playing the trumpet. For the second verse, the dynamic remains mostly the same, where you can notice a couple of scenes featuring the pomegranate, one of herself holding two pieces of the fruit in both hands, and other ones of herself dancing freely, while you can see at the side a cart trunk full of pomegranates. This could be seen initially as something irrelevant, but actually it does have relevance, as the pomegranate, which symbolizes fertility, is one of the most representative fruits of the country, reminding in this case that the national fruit is the apricot. In another repetition of the chorus, the fun and danceable dynamic remains similar, staying on the particular scene when they are both of them seated, making synchronized movements with the right shoulder, which I have to admit that looks pretty funny, by contrasting between the joyful expression from Jacqueline and the serious expression from Louis. For the instrumental interlude, many scenes alternate, with Louis now playing the zhbi, while Jacqueline is still having fun on her own, making focus on a shot where she runs downhill, while tens of pomegranates roll by the stone downhill. Thereafter, the scene changes, where they are gathering with the people of the country house in a festive environment, while Louis plays the ukulele, doing a home dynamic together with them, with her doing first and later the rest of the people, until the climax of the performance comes, with Jacqueline making an extensive vocal extravaganza while it gets back to the chorus. The festive environment remains for the rest of the chorus, until the performance finishes with a close-up of Jacqueline with a rooster of her arms. Taking into account the festive proposal they had presented this time, it was about to see how they would perform it live. For this, they have only attended one of the Eurovision pre-parties organized during the season, and they particularly shine bright. The multi-instrumental abilities from Louis, together with the attitude and charisma from Jacqueline, had charmed the audience, giving a showcase of what they were going to present at the contest. Talking about the staging in Malmo, according to what it could be seen during the first rehearsals, stands out a giant plinth with Armenian traditional motifs located at the center of the stage, where Louis will be at the top of it, together with a 4-piece live band, while Jacqueline seems like will be constantly moving between the stage and the plinth. All of them are wearing Armenian traditional outfits, similar to the ones seen in the music video, while the lighting has red, orange and yellow tones, and the visual graphics feature Armenian traditional motifs like the ones seen in the carpets during the music video, imagery of Jacqueline herself and of the rooster as well. Watching their live performance in the second semi-final, it was focused on close-ups of Jacqueline, Louis and the members of the live band, as well as wide shots of all of them, where you can appreciate the giant planet and the visual graphics on the leg screens of the stage floor, while Jacqueline moves constantly by the stage. The facial expressions of all of them are pretty emphasized, in many cases doing funny faces, giving that festive character the song has, which is also noticeable during the chorus, where Louis and almost all of the members of the live band chant to the rhythm of the song while they are still playing their musical instruments. By the home dynamic, both Jacqueline and the members of the live band cheer up to the audience to hum the song with them, and in the moment when Jacqueline does her vocal extravaganza, all the leg screens of the stage, including the cubes, are filled with Armenian motifs intertwined with imagery of Jacqueline and the rooster, keeping the dynamic mostly the same until the end of the performance. They have said that they will bring spice and a melting pot of cultures, and the truth is that they have done it pretty well. They literally set a folk party by making a simple but quite memorable performance, which have granted them the qualification to the grand final. Thereafter, in the grand final, they will place 9 for both the jury and the public, which, with the combination of both scores, they will climb one spot to finally settle in the 8th place in the final ranking. Making a summary of all the comments, the Armenian entry for this year is festive and cheerful without any doubt. It reminds a lot of the typical Anatolian town parties, in which both the band and the audience are part and leading the celebration. That gives an authentic and different touch to the proposal, in my opinion. It does not get my attention in particular, but I admit that it is a fun track which cheers you up every time you listen to it. It is remarkable, by the way, that it is the first time in the history of the contest that an entry performed fully in Armenian qualifies to the grand final, in addition to achieving an outstanding position, as a clear evidence of the progressive evolution of the Armenian entries in these recent years, since they came back to the competition after the COVID-19 pandemic. Talking about them, after their participation in the contest by representing the Caucasian country, they have moved forward with a musical career. In fact, 1 month after their Eurovision adventure, they have released a special edition of its eponymous debut studio album, where it was already featured the song they have performed at the contest, together with 6 unreleased tracks. It is supposed in this case that they will be preparing to promote their latest recording work in several musical festivals by all over Europe, and maybe even beyond. So we will still have more news from them for sure. And you, what do you think about the Armenian entry for this year? Come on and leave your comments down below to keep up the discussion. And this is it for today's episode. Don't forget to like this video if it was of your taste, thus you can help me to spread it to more people. Also subscribe to my channel to be aware of the upcoming episodes I'll be uploading, enable notifications by the bell, and follow me through my social media. Take care and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.